So today we got a new trailer for Assassin's Creed Origins, and it's called the Order of the Ancients trailer, and if you didn't know already, it kind of tells us more about the masked people. It doesn't reveal an awful lot, they're still incredibly cryptic, and we don't even know who the fuck they are, except for the fact they all wear masks, and they're pretty evil lads. There's not an awful lot that we can learn from this trailer, but there are a few bits here and there that are quite interesting. So without further ado guys, let's get straight into the breakdown of this trailer.
The Order of the Ancients.
Now straight away, as we can see here, we can see the guys with the masks. Now, I always thought that all of the main people, all of the main Order of the Ancient, like, guys, that are kind of like going to be the targets in the game, I all thought they were going to be wearing this type of mask, but it seems that these are actually the low dregs. Like, they're very low rank, and they're kind of just the pawns of the people that are, you know, in charge of things. I always thought that, like, the main guy was going to be wearing this type of mask with, like, the blue paint on it, you know, the little moustache and the fucking little beard that comes down, but turns out that everyone has this, and the actual unique ones wear different masks, as you'll see later on in the trailer, which I thought was pretty weird, but, you know, it's kind of cool, because now we can see that there's actually unique ones instead of them all looking exactly the same.
Mysterious figures who seek the power of the ancient gods.
Now this bit is pretty significant. Now, you may look at it and just think, oh look, it's a little head and there's a little snake coming out of it. Yeah, fair enough, there's a snake coming out of the head, but that's not really what matters. If you listen to what Cleopatra is saying in the narration, she says that they seek the power of the ancient gods, and I don't think it's any coincidence and then they show a big, like, rotten head. It's been in art before. We've seen this head already. We've seen it in a piece of art that's been released for Assassin's Creed Origins, and it's the same head, which leads me to believe that possibly it's a first Civ head, and they've got it because they want to, I don't know what they want to do with it, but I feel like it's got some link to the first civilization, and I really don't think it's any coincidence that they showed this clip as Cleopatra's talking about the ancient gods, which are obviously the first civilization, because we know that in Assassin's Creed, gods don't exist. So I feel like this head has some significance to the main story, and actually it's probably pretty significant considering they've shown it on 2 occasions. It's got to have some significance. Don't really know what the snake is coming out of it, really don't know what that's there or why the snake's coming out of his head, but I really do think this head is significant to the story of Assassin's Creed Origins and will link to the first civilization. And if they have this head, what are they doing with it? Like, maybe this could point to them being instruments of the first will. I really think that's a very, very viable theory that they're instruments of the first will. Obviously, they're like the beginnings of the Templars, but I really think they're predominantly the instruments of the first will, and they're working to maybe possibly bring back a certain first Civ person. I really have no idea, but I feel like it's more likely that they're instruments of their first will opposed to Templars. Although they're most likely both, considering, you know, we've always fought the Templars in the main story of Assassin's Creed. I think it'd be a bit weird if it was just suddenly some random group that not many people that don't look at the outer media have heard before.
Hidden and faceless, they control the Pharaoh from the shadows. From the Nile Delta to...
This shot here really is weird, although we do get a good look at the Anubis guy, who's been in many pieces of promotional art for Assassin's Creed Origins before. He seems like he's, you know, quite high at the top of the Order of Ancients. He's definitely one of the more unique ones, but he also seems like he's, you know, he's the top of the top for some reason. I don't really know why. Maybe because he depicts the god of Anubis and everyone knows Anubis and he's you know, he's a pretty sweet boy. This guy here, I just feel like he calls the shots and it kind of tells everyone what to do as he's the top of the top. And also, if you can see, kind of flying around, there's like weird like bugs flying around. It's weird, it looks kind of mystical. It's like there's definitely a very mystical vibe to this trailer overall, and this bit is really strange. It's just bugs falling from the sky and like writhing around on the ground, and this guy's just standing there completely chill.
Their grasp for might and control is limitless.
As you can see here, this hyena looks fucking dead. It's got blood all over its face. Its eyes are like rolled back in its head and shit. It looks dead. What? How is it come? How's it walking about and shit? What's going on there? Is there fucking zombie hyenas in Origins? How does that work? That's really weird. And also, if you look, like, you know, a few seconds before this, there's like a woman that seems to have tamed these dead hyenas. I don't know what the fuck's going on. This is so confusing. Like, it's definitely very mystical, as I said before. Like, No one's brought back people from the dead before in Assassin's Creed. It literally has never happened. It's never happened in Assassin's Creed before. I'm pretty sure it can happen in lore. There's a few pieces of Eden that bring people back to life, although it's only for a short amount of time. I don't know what's going on here. Fucking dead hyenas walking about. It's fucking mental.
When the order...
Now here we have a really cool shot of Madunnamun from the original E3 demo of Assassin's Creed Origins. It was like the 5-minute demo where it shows like the fucking ship predator bow at the end. But this is a really cool shot, and he seems to be in the game quite a bit, although we know that he dies, which is something that I find quite weird, because you see the predator arrow go into his head in the E3 gameplay demo, so we know that he dies in the game. Obviously he's gonna die because he's one of our targets, which, it's a foregone conclusion that this guy's gonna die if Bayek's hunting after him. But I don't know, it's weird dropping a spoiler, I guess, like that. I don't really know if you can call it a spoiler, because we know that he died. But anyway, it's a cool shot, and he seems quite significant in the game as well, considering in all of the promotional art, he's the guy that's holding the apple, and obviously, as we know, the Apple of Eden is pretty significant in this game. It's coming back, it's making a comeback, and this guy seems to be the one wielding it. And you'll see later in the trailer something fucking weird that he does with the Apple of Eden as well.
Save something. No one can stand in there.
Alright, this bit is fucking weird. I really don't know what this guy's doing. He clearly doesn't have a piece of Eden in his hands or anything, so how the fuck he's doing this weird hallucination shit and like closing pillars and stuff. I've got no idea what's going on there. Anything that I can liken it to is in the end of the very first trailer for Assassin's Creed Origins, when we see this snake, you can see floating pillars in the background, and that's kind of what this reminds me of. Maybe in that tomb this guy can control the pillars, or it's obviously some form of first civ hallucination. It's definitely, he's not fucking actually controlling them, it's a hallucination, and he's using the mind trick. Maybe he is using the apple. Maybe all of the top tier people in the Order of the Ancients, maybe they kind of pass the apple around and they will use it, but I don't know. He's controlling fucking pillars. I don't know what's going on, and the only thing I can liken it to is the snake at the end of the trailer in Assassin's Creed Origins. Like, there's pillars in the background, they're all floating and shit, and this is what reminds me of it.
They are the reason.
As you can see here, the Order of the Ancients clearly have Bayek in their custody. Now, I reckon this could be relatively close to the beginning of the game, where Bayek and Aya both get captured by the Order of Ancients, somehow manage to escape, and then realize, shit, we need to take these guys down, because they're not good lads, and they need to do something about it, and maybe that could lead to the formation of, the Brotherhood. Bayek and Aya have different, viewpoints on what they should do about it, and that leads to the formation of the Brotherhood in Bayek's eyes, because obviously we know Bayek created the Brotherhood predominantly, and different arguments and various different parts in their relationship caused the Brotherhood to change and be like it is today. But I don't know, I feel like this is a very significant piece in the story, and that's why they showed it in this trailer.
For your pain and anger. If you do not act, this country will burn to the ground.
So here we get a really good look of the Anubis guy. He's clearly wearing some sort of mask. Obviously, he's not actually a fucking dog. But we just get a good look at him. We haven't really seen his character model in-game in detail an awful lot, because at the beginning of the trailer, he was kind of, shrouded in fog and mist, and then also there was the bugs flying around. But here we get a good look of him, and he does look really cool. Really like the design of his character, and I can't wait to get some armor looking like this in the game, because obviously we have the Anubis armor that we saw in the other trailer, and it did look really nice, and I can't wait to get armor that looks kind of like this in the game as well, so I can walk around like a big dog, and it'd be really fucking great. So this is another one of the masked ones, and obviously this guy is kind of like a brute. I reckon his boss battle is going to be very based on like dodging and exploiting his slowness and stuff like that. He clearly is the the big burly man. He's got all his men behind him there, and he looks very Greek in origin. You can actually see parts of his face, which means that all the ancient ones, they don't fully cover their face, as was evident in the woman earlier. She didn't actually have a mask on at all. This guy does have a helmet on, however you can see parts of his face too, and it's good to see that there's actually variation in the different enemies. It's not just the same guys wearing the same masks. There's actually individual targets that seem pretty unique, almost back to the AC1 days, where each target had its own weakness and each target had their own personality and everything, whereas in the newer games it's kind of like random guys that you go around killing. These guys seem very unique, very distinct, and I reckon it's going to be very different play styles to take them out. Now here we see Madunama. He's got the Apple of Eden in his hand, but he's beating this guy's head in, and this kind of correlates with the information we got a few weeks back that kind of said that a man beats another man's head in with an orb, this orb being the Apple of Eden. So someone getting their head bashed in with the Apple of Eden. This guy's using the apple wrong. It's not meant to be used like that. What's he doing? I don't know what he's doing there, but he's smashing a guy's head in with the Apple of Eden, and that's the first time we've actually seen a piece of Eden, like the apple, used to hit someone, opposed to, you know, just using the sharp end of the staff, or using the sword of Eden because it's a fucking sword. This is someone smashing someone around the head with the apple, which I find really strange, and I can imagine it's going to be a very graphic scene. Here we can see this guy's basically got some huge kind of chain whip with a fucking morning star on the end of it. And we can see Bayek fighting some random dude as well, which is a really cool scene. I just kind of wanted to include that in there. But this guy is deadly. He's got a fucking huge morning star, and he's going to fling it around our little face and shit, and I definitely think his boss is going to be a fun challenge to play, especially considering the combat's been upped a whole lot. Enemies do a whole lot more damage, they don't let you take any moments reprieve, and it's going to be a good time. I love big boss battles, and I can't wait to fight all of these guys in their own respective individual boss battles. Now this guy is one of the ones that I actually know the name of. If you guys go check the link in the description, I'll leave a link to all of these guys. There's Access the Animus page on Facebook. They're posting pictures of all of these guys, and there's actually names for them as well. But I thought I'd, you know, I know this guy's name. I literally have his fucking picture up on the other tab right now as I'm recording this on one of the monitors, so I know his name. It's called the Duelist, and this guy's obviously some form of gladiator. He does look really cool. It looks like some form of fucking ninja. I don't know what's going on there, but he definitely has a cool design, and he's going to be a little sneak, I reckon. A little sneaky fuck. You know, probably use poison, different tactics to get to us, and he'll be really fast. But also, it just adds more diversity to the various boss battles in the game, because obviously, as we had before, it was a big guy with the morning star that kind of flings it around and smashes you in the face, whereas this guy will take a more, you know, passive, a more stealthy approach to the combat, opposed to just going straight in and using brute force, which is quite cool. It means we have to have our wits about us and anticipate what's going to happen with each boss. So here we have more screenshots of the naval. Now, we don't see an awful lot of this, so it's good to see it in trailers, and with it being the team that made Black Flag, it's bound to be good. But if you look at the center of the sail in the very center ship, you can see an assassin symbol with two eagle wings coming off of it, which I think is really cool, which shows that Bayek already has the assassin symbol in his head. I don't really know. Is this our ship? Is this our crew on the ship as well? What's going on there? But you can see the assassin symbol. All the rest of the ones around it don't have it. So this could probably signify that this is Bayek's ship, and it lets you tell it apart from other ones if, you know, playing with no HUD or something like that. I don't know. But it's kind of cool that it's got the assassin logo on it, considering that it's, you know, right at the conception of the creed, like right at the beginning. And you know, Bayek's been sitting there, you know, at his desk all night, and he's been trying to figure out with a cool logo to come up with, and he wanted to put it on his ship sails. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. But the Assassin's logo is on the ship there, which I think is very cool. As you can see here, this masked guy has actually buried this other guy alive. If you look at his feet, he's like got his head in the sand, and he's just kind of leaving him there. This is really fucked up. I've noticed this trailer was very dark, had a lot of dark tones to it, a lot of violent things, and this is definitely one of them. Look at him. There's just a guy in the sand sitting there, and his head's the only thing that's poking out. And I don't know, it looks really fucked up, but it's cool to see they're actually, you know, doing very violent and dark things in the game, because it's, you know, aimed to a more mature audience, which just means that it'll bring in a more, you know, a less toxic audience for the game that we haven't ready. Because as I said in previous videos, there's a lot of kids that play Assassin's Creed, and it kind of leads to a very toxic environment when talking about the game. And I've gone over this already, but it's going to be a more mature audience because it's a more mature game, is what I'm trying to say. Now in this screenshot we can see Bayek, and he's absolutely covered in blood, like all over his face, under his robes. Somehow the blood hasn't gotten onto the white of his robes at all, which I find kind of weird. It's sort of like underneath it, but he's bleeding all over the place and he's walking through a sandstorm. Now, I don't know if this happened because he got damaged in the game and he's just walking around like that, because in all the gameplay we've seen, when you get stabbed, you don't really see any cuts or anything like that, which I find kind of weird. But anyway, this is weird. He's covered in blood. He's probably been defeated. He's walking back to somewhere, walking back to his home, and you know he's got to figure a way of getting back at those fucking masked ones, because they've probably cut him up and shit. But I don't know. I really don't know what's going on here. It's just Bayek covered in blood. Alright, so here we get a nice wide shot of one of the large scale battles in the game, and this looks absolutely insane. Like, there's loads of people fighting in various different groups, people fighting in... Oh, it just looks so fucking great. There's huge scale battles, and the great thing about these is that some of them are in the main story, but they can also happen in the open world, even when you're not there. They just happen randomly when two different factions that oppose each other come together. They'll just start fighting, and huge scale battles like this will break out. Obviously, this one is probably an example of a set piece, hence all the fire and the fog everywhere, although things similar to this can happen in the open world, just in the Oasis or stuff like that, and that is really cool, and we get a nice look at one of the large scale battles right here.
The Order will tear our Egypt apart! What will you do, Medjay?
This is one of those classic things in trailers where it's like at the end shows something absolutely impossible that our character can't get out of because it's cool. Because obviously, when this elephant rammed into him, he probably died. You know, in the gameplay, he probably died, but they just edit it in the trailer to look like he didn't because the trailer ends after this. But you really can't shoot a fucking armored elephant. Just stand there, unless he's shooting in the eye. Maybe he shoots it in the eye, I don't know, but he's most likely dead in this situation, because even if he did shoot it in the eye, the elephant would still be moving, and it would probably topple over and fall onto him. So I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Bayek's got a death wish, he wants to die, and that's pretty much that, basically. That's the trailer over.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
So that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I worked very hard on breaking down this trailer. I really don't know how I got a 1-minute trailer down to like a 16-minute video. I'm pretty sure the trailer was 1 minute anyway. I didn't really check, but it's a short trailer. I don't know how I managed to get it to 16 minutes. I fucking have no idea. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I tried to kind of go as in-depth as I possibly could, and hopefully I succeeded. Let me know if I missed anything in the comment section below. Be sure to go ahead and like and subscribe for more gaming news and content and reviews in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next one.